You don't register the fall as fear. You register it as numbers dropping too fast, altitude collapsing, pressure shifting. The mast deploys, but it's already late. The cabin vibrates at a frequency that doesn't belong in controlled flight. People around you are reacting, but it blends into background noise. Then the ground arrives. Impact is not a single event. It's a sequence. Metal folding, seats tearing loose, your body driven forward, restrained, then snapped back. Silence follows, but it isn't clean. It's filled with low hissing, distant crackling, something leaking. You're inverted for a second before your brain corrects it. The cabin is broken open, angled into dense green. Heat builds quickly. You unbuckle because your hands remember what your mind doesn't. The latch sticks for half a second. That half second feels longer. Then you drop, your legs hold. You move away from your seat because something in you understands fuel is present, and fuel means time is limited. You don't have training for this. Only fragments. Demonstrations you ignored. Instructions you didn't expect to use. You pull yourself through torn metal, past people who are moving and people who are not. The air smells wrong, burnt, chemical, humid all at once. You step out into the jungle without deciding to. The transition is immediate. Inside was structure. Outside is pressure from every direction. The air is heavy, above 30 degrees Celsius, humidity close to saturation. Sweat starts instantly and doesn't stop. Insects find you within minutes. The wreck is still visible behind you, partially embedded, already becoming part of the terrain. You check yourself in sections, arms, legs, ribs. Pain is present but contained. You're functional. That becomes your first metric. Functional means you can act. Others are gathering near the fuselage, forming something that looks like a group but isn't organized. No one takes control. No one knows how. This is the entry point. No rank, no identity beyond survival. You are one of many, interchangeable, dependent on immediate decisions. You go back in once, not for people, for resources. Bottled water, a torn first aid kit, a piece of fabric you can use later. You don't think about why you choose these things. You just take them. Others are doing the same. No coordination, just extraction. Time moves differently. The first hour compresses. By the third hour, the wreck feels less like safety and more like exposure. Heat builds under the metal. The smell intensifies. Sound from the jungle becomes more noticeable. Movement beyond the tree line. Not constant, not random either. This is where ascent begins, but it doesn't look like progress. It looks like separation. Some people stay close to the wreck, sitting, waiting, conserving energy. Others start making small decisions, collecting water, clearing space, checking the perimeter. You fall into the second group without announcing it. Responsibility appears gradually. You hold on to supplies. You remember where things are. You start tracking who is capable and who is not. No one promotes you. You just accumulate tasks no one else takes. By the end of the first day, the group has unofficial layers. Those who act, those who wait, those who can't. You are no longer at the bottom, but there is no recognition for that. Just more weight. You start making compromises without labeling them. You keep extra water. You don't share everything you find. You justify it as necessary. Limited resources, uncertain timeline. You prioritize your own survival because the system forming here rewards it. The second day introduces structure. Not formal, but repeatable. You move at specific times to avoid peak heat. Early morning, late afternoon, midday is for stillness. Temperature peaks around 34 degrees Celsius. Movement during that window costs too much energy. Water becomes the central currency. You estimate intake, roughly 500 milliliters every few hours if available. Not enough. Never enough. You start identifying sources. Condensation, runoff, anything collectible. Risk of contamination is high, but dehydration is immediate. You choose risk. The unspoken rules develop faster than spoken ones. Don't wander alone without marking your path. Don't take from the shared pile without being seen. Don't challenge decisions unless you're ready to replace them. No one writes these down. Everyone learns them by watching consequences. Bureaucracy forms in a primitive way. Who holds supplies? Who decides movement? Who speaks when there's disagreement? It's not stable, but it's consistent enough to function. You participate because opting out means isolation, and isolation here reduces survival probability. Creative compliance becomes necessary. You follow group decisions outwardly, but you prepare alternatives privately. You cache small amounts of water. You note exit routes. You observe who breaks under pressure and who adapts. Information becomes leverage. wreckage. Days pass without clear count. You track time by light cycles. Approximately 12 hours of daylight, 12 of darkness. Nights are colder, but not cold. Around 22 degrees Celsius. Still humid. Sleep is fragmented. Every sound interrupts. Animals, insects, movement that may or may not be human. This is where erosion begins. Your previous identity loses relevance. Job, routine, relationships. They don't apply here. Communication with the outside world is zero. No signal, no aircraft overhead, no indication anyone is searching within range. You think about people you know, but the thoughts are shorter each time. They don't help you make decisions here, so they fade. Not emotionally, functionally. Interactions within the group change. Conversations become transactional. Who has water? Who can move? Who slows the group? Empathy exists, but it competes with calculation. You notice it in yourself first, then in others. Isolation isn't physical, it's internal. Even when you're surrounded, decisions are yours alone. No one shares responsibility fully. If something goes wrong, it attaches to the person who acted. The system tightens, fewer discussions, faster decisions, less tolerance for hesitation. You adapt because hesitation now has visible costs, lost resources, missed opportunities, increased risk. Then the fracture. It doesn't arrive as a dramatic event. It's quiet. A disagreement about movement. Stay near the wreck for visibility or move deeper for concealment and resources. Both options carry risk. Neither guarantees survival. The group splits not evenly, not cleanly. Some leave with minimal supplies, trusting movement over position. Others stay, committing to visibility and the chance of rescue. You stand between both directions longer than you should. You calculate variables you can't fully measure. Distance from crash site, probability of search patterns, resource depletion rates, unknown human presence in the area. This is the shattering point, the realization that there is no correct choice. The system you've been building, routine, rules, structure, doesn't resolve this. It only frames the decision. You choose based on control, what you can influence directly. You take what you can carry, water, basic supplies, nothing excessive. Weight matters. You don't announce your reasoning. You just move. The jungle closes behind you within minutes. Visibility drops to a few meters. Sound changes again. The wreck, the group, the structure, they disappear as reference points. Movement is slower now, each step deliberate. You mark your path subtly. Broken branches, disturbed soil. You conserve energy. You stop before exhaustion. You drink in measured amounts. Time stretches again. Without the group, there's no shared rhythm, only your own. You realize something gradually. The system didn't end when you left. It continues at the crash site. New roles, new decisions, the same patterns repeating. Your absence doesn't disrupt it. Replacement is automatic. Someone else takes your place in the structure without acknowledgement. Days later, uncertain how many, you are still moving, still making decisions with incomplete information, still managing resources that are nearly gone. The cycle becomes clear. Entry was sudden. Ascent was quiet. The system formed naturally. Erosion was gradual. The break was inevitable. Exit isn't defined by rescue or death. It's defined by separation from the structure. You are outside it now, but not free from it. The same rules apply, just without witnesses. You stop at a water source as light fades. You ration what remains. You prepare for another night of partial sleep. The jungle remains unchanged, indifferent, consistent. You understand the final detail without emotion. The system you pass through doesn't depend on individuals. It rebuilds around whoever remains. And if you disappear tomorrow, it continues without interruption.